The wind outside howled like a warning. Rain tapped against the broken window pane as Emma sat on the edge of the lumpy motel bed, rocking her feverish baby in her tired arms. It was the first night in years that she wasn't sharing a roof with her husband, but not because he was working late or angry again. No, this time, it was over. Officially over. She had signed the divorce papers just 14 hours earlier. Now she was in a rundown roadside motel, on the outskirts of town alone, broke and terrified. The neon vacancy sign flickered outside like a cruel joke. Inside, everything was dim. The lighting, the smell, the bedspread, even the air. The heater made a wheezing sound, barely warming the space. Her baby, 6-month-old Noah, was burning up. His skin felt too hot against hers, and he refused to feed. Emma had tried everything: cool compresses from a damp towel, gently humming lullabies, pacing the floor, but nothing worked. Her phone had died 2 hours ago, and with no family left to call, and her bank account down to a few coins, she was out of options. She sank to the carpeted floor, holding Noah tightly. I'm so sorry, baby, she whispered, tears slipping down her cheeks. Mommy's trying. That's when she heard a knock. Not from the front desk, and not from the street. It came from the wall. No, the door. 3 light taps. Emma froze. The last thing she wanted was anyone seeing her like this, disheveled, red-eyed, desperate. Another knock. Then a deep, gravelly voice. Ma'am, I'm sorry to bother you. I heard the baby crying. Everything okay? Her heart raced. She tiptoed to the door and looked through the peephole. A man. Maybe late 50s or early 60s. Tall, rugged, with silver-streaked hair tucked under a faded baseball cap. He wore a denim jacket over a flannel shirt, the kind worn by men who worked with their hands. Not threatening, not overly curious, just calm. I have some children's Tylenol, he said. I'm a retired EMT. I always travel with a first aid kit. Thought maybe you could use some. Emma stared at the door. Could she trust him? Her instincts screamed yes and no at the same time, but desperation has a strange way of silencing fear. She cracked the door open just a few inches. You're not some kind of weirdo, are you? She asked, her voice hoarse. The man chuckled softly. No ma'am, just someone who's lived long enough to know when to lend a hand. She looked down at his hands, weathered but steady. He held out a sealed bottle of children's Tylenol and a dosing dropper. Something about the way he still made her believe him. Emma opened the door all the way and stepped aside. The man didn't enter. He simply handed her the medicine and said, I can guide you through the dosage if you'd like. In minutes. She gave Noah the proper dose. The baby whimpered, but slowly, miraculously, his cries began to soften. His tiny fists unclenched, and his body relaxed against her chest. Thank you, she whispered, her voice cracked. I didn't know what to do. I know that feeling, the man replied. Been there myself. She looked up. You have kids? He nodded. 2 grown boys. Lost my wife 8 years ago. Cancer. His eyes looked far away for a moment before he came back to her. After that, I sold the house and just started moving. I work odd jobs, fix cars, help folks when I can. There's a kind of peace in staying useful. He paused. I'm Hank. By the way, Emma, she said, shaking his hand. He sat down on the floor near the doorway. Not intruding, not hovering, just there. A presence, and somehow, that made all the difference. For the next hour, they talked. Emma told him everything. About the way her husband had slowly withdrawn from their marriage after Noah was born. How the love turned to criticism. How she began to believe that maybe she wasn't enough, wasn't strong, wasn't worthy. How her dreams of being a music teacher were buried under diapers, unpaid bills, and silent dinners. Hank listened. Really listened. And when he spoke, it wasn't with advice or pity, it was with understanding. You know, he said thoughtfully. After my wife passed, I used to park in Walmart lots just so I could sleep near other people. Silence can be loud when you're grieving something. Or someone. Or even your old self. Emma nodded. I don't know who I am anymore. Well, maybe that's okay, Hank said. Maybe you get to decide now. Build something new. Not for him, for you and that little boy. He smiled and gestured toward Noah, who was now asleep in Emma's arms. Cheeks pink and peaceful. Then came something she never expected. I help run a garage about an hour north of here, Hank said. We've been looking for someone to handle admin stuff, phones, scheduling, that kind of thing. It ain't glamorous, but it's honest work. Pays all right, and this might matter. We've got a daycare set up in the back. Mostly for the mechanics kids. Emma stared at him, her eyes filled with tears. You're offering me a job. Hank shrugged, smiling. Why not? You're sharp, you care. And you're tougher than most people I know. Besides, I figure the universe sends people when we need them most. You're here for a reason. She didn't say anything right away, but something cracked open inside her. Hope. Asterisk the next morning, Emma packed up and checked out. She didn't go back to her old neighborhood. She didn't text her ex. She didn't even cry as she drove. She followed Hank's directions instead. The garage was small but tidy. The sign out front read, H&J Auto and Repair. There were toys in the corner of the office, coffee brewing on a makeshift desk, and friendly faces who didn't blink twice when Hank introduced her. Asterisk, she's our new lifesaver, he said. Asterisk, in the weeks that followed, Emma thrived. She learned how to schedule oil changes, make invoices, and laugh again. Noah babbled happily in the daycare, surrounded by kids and warmth, and Hank became something like a guardian angel rough around the edges. Always nearby, and always showing up when she didn't realize she needed someone. One night, months later, Emma sat on the front step of the garage. Asterisk, the sun was setting, casting gold across the parking lot. Hank joined her, sipping his coffee. Asterisk, you still think the universe sends people when we need them? She asked. Asterisk, I don't think it, he said, I know it. Asterisk, she looked at him, then at the sleeping baby in her arms. Asterisk, I hope someday I can be that knock on someone's door. Asterisk, he nodded, you already are. Asterisk, sometimes the hardest goodbyes lead to the most unexpected beginnings. And sometimes, a stranger's knock in the middle of the night becomes the first step to healing, to purpose, to a life rebuilt from kindness. Asterisk, because the world doesn't just break, it mends, too. Asterisk, and every crack in the road might just be leading you home.